It is recording.
All right, guys, what's up? Welcome to another episode of Off the Beaten Path podcast. I am Nate. Today we have Bobby.
And we also have the amazing Hole with us from the band Artio.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thanks for coming on. We appreciate you spending this time with us and look forward to getting to know you a little bit. So tell us about yourself and the band.
Um, well, we are like a three-piece alternative pop band from Leeds, which is in the north of the UK. We've been like gigging up and down the country for like 2 years. We were all in like other bands before we were in this one, so we have like collectively all had like 4 or 5 years of experience with like live performance and writing and studio time before we became Artio. And yeah, we have released two EPs this year. We churn out music, probably a little bit too fast for our mental health, but we do it anyway. And yeah, we're just doing some cool stuff at the minute. We've just released an EP, and we are straight vibing.
Awesome. I love straight vibing. And I love y'all's music too. I've been checking it out since we started talking a few weeks ago, and it's really good stuff. Like you said, it's alternative pop. It's kind of punchy. I hear maybe some even like some punk influence in there sometimes, and it's really cool stuff that y'all are doing.
Thank
With
you.
the band name, how did y'all come up with the band name?
So we wrote two songs before we had a band name. We wrote If We Don't Speak Again and Blood Brother, and then we were like, yeah, this is kind of sick. So we were like, okay, we need to make a name, and we were toying around with loads of ideas for ages, but like nothing was sticking. And I love three-syllable names because audience when they chant it, it just works. Like with
That makes sense.
and
Yep.
I'm like, oh, like I have an ego that needs a bit of a stroke like that. So I was like, I want a three-syllable name, and I couldn't find anything. So I started looking into like names of like Greek like goddesses and mythology and stuff like that. And then we found a Celtic goddess called Artio, and she's the Celtic goddess of bears and death, but we kind of leave out the death bit. But she's like the Celtic goddess of bears, and I have a lot of Scottish family, and so does Rob. So we thought it was quite cool that we had that like little bit of like ancient heritage in there, but also because she's like a badass female because she's like the goddess of bears, but nobody like knows about it, or it's not like a household name like Athena or Zeus or.
Right.
So we were like, we want to kind of be like a badass woman, but also kind of like represent the underdog. You know what I mean? Like you don't know her name yet, but you will now, kind of thing.
That's actually really perfect. I mean, first of all, like how you talk about, a three-syllable name, so you got RDO,
Yeah,
Art,
that's
but
why it sounds so nice when someone's doing like Artio. It's like, oh, that's
no, that's a beautiful feeling. I've been in a couple bands and I've never felt that feeling. I've had people screaming and that ego. It does feel good to be fulfilled, but never had the actual chanting your name because it's always dead blow or Creed in it, so you can't really do that.
Yeah, we have
But
one too short syllables.
exactly, yeah, you were in Lone Street. It just doesn't work for that. But so you mentioned also that you guys were in previous bands before y'all formed. How did y'all form? Like, did y'all know each other and things of that nature?
yeah. Well, the bands we were in, because like the Leeds music scene as like a city is like just huge. Like the city isn't big, but the music scene is just massive, and there's like it's kind of dominated by like male indie bands, which isn't my cup of tea, but whatever. And I was in like an indie pop, indie rocky band with like me, another girl, and two boys, and it was really nice because there was like that equal split. And then Ewan was in a band. There was a five-piece. They had a female singer, and then all the rest of them were boys. And then Rob's been in a few bands, but his band they were all guys, and we like everybody just knew each other through like gigging and
Hmm.
like so. I've known Ewan since I was 14. I've known Rob since I was 15, but we were all like just doing other things. And then, but me and Ewan have been good friends for ages. And then I had like some really dodgy shit go down, and I was like, I need to write a song, and I was having problems with my other band, and like, you know, when just things fizzle out, blah blah blah. It was coming to an end, so I was like, Ewan, write me a song. I need to like vent, and then that's where If We Don't Speak Again came from, and we were just sat there like, oh my god, what have we done?
We have something here.
And it just kind of, yeah, like when a song just like falls out of your face, and then you look at it like a little baby, and you're like, oh my god, we made it. And then we were like, we need to get a guitarist, because we weren't in, like making it like a live project for a good few months, and then we wrote loads more songs and we showed them to like a few friends, and everyone was like, you need to like start gigging this, like you need to start performing this. And we were like, okay, it's no problem, everything is backing tracks and there's only two of us. So we did some like rehearsing with a few different guitarists, and Rob just kind of like clicked, and he had like the drive and the devotion to the project, and like just wrote his parts like so quick, and then they were always just quality. So we were like, this is it. We found the unit, and then we've like chopped and changed with like who's playing what for a while, but now we've kind of got like a lineup. We have live drums, live guitar, live vocals. Everything else is like tracks, because it's mainly like electronic production. But yeah, we were like in and out of like what we were definitely doing for ages, and then when we got it, we were just like, yeah, this works. And then once we had that, we were like, okay, and then just ran with it, and that's when we got here.
Awesome. Yeah, and it definitely does work, because I just watched a couple of your guys' live shows, and just how like it works perfect. It's in your face, it punches. And I like also how, I don't know if it's on every song you do this, at live shows, but you have your backing track vocals, but it's like very subtle, and instead of you matching it, you actually harmonize it. And is that something that you really thought of? Is it something that maybe Rob thought of? And how did that come about?
Well, like with my old band I was in, there was me and another girl, and we used to like do live harmonies all the time. And I just loved how it sounded, and it was something that not loads of bands do a lot, like with the live kind of harmonies, and just kind of making the vocal not just one like strip, like layers and layers. Mm-hmm. So it punches you in the face. And I love recording vocal layers and doing like octaves and whisper tracks and head voice, chest voice, and mixing it up. And I just was like, I don't want to be, because it was the first time I'd ever been singing on stage alone, because I'd always had somebody else singing with me. So I was like, for a while it was kind of like a safety net of like, well, if there's somebody else singing, even though it's me, if there's somebody else singing with me, backing me up, so like if I like, bugger it up, there's still something going.
Right.
And I rarely do mess up, but when I do, it's nice to have something to kind of fall back on. And then after a while, it kind of got to like audiences would know where harmonies were and know where certain little backing vocal bits came in and like extra things. And we were like, well, we kind of have to keep it in, because we had little staples of things that were in there. And then it gives me a little bit of like leeway as well, because I write songs that like are so hard for me like to do all in one go live. They nearly killed me off. So it's like I don't have to push really hard to get my voice like in everyone's face, because there's like 7 different layers of me just kind of in the mix. So it's like I'll never feel like alone on stage vocally, because there's always me backing me up kind of thing. And it's just nice, well, because if I forget the key of the song, there will always be me in my ear kind of reminding me like, now this is what you're supposed to be singing. So it's like that reassurance as well.
Right. And go on, Bobby.
I was going to just say, with your knowledge of being able to create that many layers of vocals for either the live performance or the recording, what's your musical background? Were you professionally trained, or did you teach yourself how to sing?
I taught myself how to sing, because we couldn't really afford like singing lessons, because like we've never been like a crazy rich family. So that was the thing, that like I could sing from a young age, but like like kids singing, and like I wanted to be a singer, but there was no way of me like learning professionally. So I just taught myself by listening to like Amy Winehouse and Adele and like Lynn Gunn from Paris and Connor Mason and Fall Out Boy, like all of those big, unique voices. I just like spent years and years mimicking them until I kind of found my own like voice for a while, because I used to sing so nasal, like proper like, trying to be American when I'm from Yorkshire. So like trying to find where I fit in amongst all the voices I wanted to be like. And my family have always been musical. Like my dad is a producer, he runs a record label, he's a lecturer of music, and my mom like was, you know, disco kid, and just like there's always been music in my house. So I don't know how I would have gone down a different career path. And I have like my family love coming to my gigs because everybody just loves music. So I taught myself how to sing, but music was always been like there. It was like an obvious choice to take. Didn't know how hard it was gonna be though. But we're here. We're vibing. I'm not just air drumming to Green Day anymore, but we're here. Trying.
I'm glad you made it. I'm glad you made that decision because y'all are phenomenal. Like Bobby can probably tell you when I get hooked on something, I'm hooked on it. So if it's a movie, I'm gonna watch Scarface 20 times in a row. If it's music, I'm gonna listen to the album 20 times in a row. And I literally listened to you guys for the past 2 days,
Oh my god.
pretty much nonstop. Pretty much nonstop.
That's
Yeah.
so cool.
So I'm definitely glad that you made it, you toughed it out, and that you're here vibing out now.
Me too.
Definitely. And do you wanna? I guess we should introduce a band. They're not here, but you're Hall the vocalist, and do you mind introducing the other two guys and what they do?
Yeah, so Rob Arkle is the guitarist. He like kind of he's like the comedy of the band. Like if we're making content, like it's like Rob, and then us are kind of just there like because he's just so funny, and just like I'm not sure if you watched, we did a Artio Bake Off on YouTube. If you've not watched it, after this you'll probably not recognize me in that because I was being a tit then and I'm being professional now. But like he's just hilarious. So Rob's an incredible musician and writes all of his parts, but he's just so great to be around when you're like cramped in like a Ford on the way to Glasgow and you're just hating tour. He just brings everything, like every single bit of joy to a car.
Right.
So I can't have a band without Rob from now on. And Ewan is the drummer, but he also plays every single instrument ever, and he does all of the production. So like as a band, we do all of our production, recording, mastering, mixing, artwork, everything. We're like a little self-contained unit, and Ewan does all of the music. And most of the way, like the ideas will come from Ewan. Will be making something, send it to us. It gets bounced around a few times, and then there's a song. It's kind of like, oh, nice. But Ewan does all of that. He was our live bass player for a while, but then we decided that we wanted to take like a bit of a heavier vibe, a bit more beefy. So now he plays drums live, and it just sounds a bit fuller because a lot of it is tracks. So we just physically can't do it all live. So now we have like Ewan on drums now because that's his first instrument. Like it just sounds like fat, like PH fat.
Nice.
So real thick. It's very nice. So that's them. Ewan's also very funny, but he's kind of the man in the chair, you know, like the little genius that is there but just brewing ideas. And then Rob and me just mess about, write songs, and bake cakes.
Perfect.
Yeah, that's wild that Ewan does all that, because when you said you had live drums, I'm like, but Ewan plays bass, so how does he do that too?
Yeah, we literally just made the switch from live bass to live drums like in lockdown. When we wrote this new EP, we have live drums on this new EP now, and we were just like yeah, like it just sounded just so much bigger. And because there's only three of us as well, it's quite intimidating on like a band, like a bill with like bands of like 5 pieces who can make so much noise. And I'm 5'1", so it's like,
wow.
Yeah. If we have like a sound that's just huge, and there's like a really small woman and then like two guys in the back. Like no, like they can't ignore us even if we don't like look like everybody else, like setup wise. So we did that in lockdown, and it just worked. But all the videos of like live as you and on bass, because we haven't done a show yet with live drums because of Miss Corona. But hopefully that will go away at some point.
Yeah, hopefully. A lot of people are saying after the election because they're saying it's politicized and it's a political thing. And
I don't want to get into that.
yeah, let's not even get into it. Fuck that. It's gonna end soon, and y'all are gonna be able to try out live drums. How about that?
Yep, I'm sorry. We do this every 4 years. We have an election, and we also have a virus that tries to kill the entire world. So.
It happens. Shit happens.
It does.
But before the virus, y'all were doing a small tour on your support for your Backbone EP. How was that?
You guys have done your research. This is great. Yeah, it was really cool. Except I don't know if I had Corona. I just had a really real bad cold because I was on some medication for my acne that lowered my immune system. So for the whole tour, I was ill. And it was great, but like in the car when you're ill, and we were traveling through Storm Dennis to Glasgow, and Storm Dennis was just a really bad storm, and I'm in the back with tissues everywhere, and Rob and Ewan just taking the piss out of Bring Me the Horizon, and it just like the joy of just like haha, you know what I mean. It was great. It just, the sad thing was like that was our first tour to support like a big release, and then like the day after our big headline like almost sold out, then everything got pulled. So Newcastle, Manchester, Birmingham just were like we couldn't play them. We were just like, oh, this was really short-lived and great, and now we can't do anything. But it was really, really fun. It was just sad because it got cut off short. But we had a sold-out show in Newcastle, almost a sold-out show in Leeds. We had a lot of cancellations because of people going, yep, I've got coronavirus. We just had like, yeah, please don't come. Like,
Yeah, stay at home.
do not turn up. And then we had like a great time, but we were just devastated that it got pulled.
Yeah, that's so. It was supposed to end like what, mid-April, so I guess it ended sometime in March.
And it started on the 12th of February, and it was supposed to end on the 21st of April. And we were supposed to be playing live at Leeds on the 26th of May. And when we got to that day, it got to the 26th of May, and then we were just like, you should have been live at Leeds today. And we were just like, because that was like our first big festival. We got booked, like being asked. Like it wasn't like a competition that we won or anything. Like we got asked to do it, and we were just like, oh, okay, oh, yep, yes, please.
Right.
It didn't happen. We were just like, oh, great. Now we're not famous.
And that wasn't the Pale Wave show, was it?
Yeah, Pale Waves were alive at Leeds, I believe.
Wait, oh my God, that sucks, because I wanted to ask about that because I love them. Like, you know, two of my favorites.
God.
Yes, like Drive and Television Romance. Love those songs. Love that whole album. And I'm like, whoa, wait, they got to play with Pale Waves? That's fucking crazy. But obviously not. Got canceled.
Hopefully next year. Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Fingers
we'll
crossed.
We'll be on a different stage, but I will make it my mission to find them.
You'll get it.
Crawling around backstage, just like hello.
Want to have a chat?
Hello.
Oh man, that's awesome.
And is Live at Leeds like a big annual festival that happens every year, or is it more of a new festival?
It's been happening for a good few years now. It's like a big like metropolitan festival, so like it's not like outdoors, because there's like dozens of like big music venues in like Leeds. So it's all indoors in different venues, and you just walk throughout the city. But like it takes like 45 minutes maximum to get across the whole city, like Leeds. So yeah, we would have been playing a really cool stage as well.
Man.
Fine, because we've got next year, and we have loads of cool plans for next year, and a lot more festivals as well. Because we've just used lockdown to grow like to a bigger size where we're kind of like people are like, oh, you guys want to play our festival? And we're just like, oh, we thought you'd never ask. Okay.
Hell no.
Whoa.
There's that ego.
She's not here.
This is this, this is we briefly spoke on how America does everything different because we were talking about the weather before we started recording, how we do Fahrenheit, you guys do Celsius, y'all use meters, we use feet. Something else on how we say our date makes no sense because you guys released Standalone and Do Your Dance on September 18th, but really, why don't you start with the day and then the month and then the year? That just makes more sense. But speaking of Standalone and Do Your Dance, do you mind speaking briefly about each song, what it's about, and what it means to you?
Yeah, if I can remember the track list in order.
I can pull it up real quick.
I feel very helped here. I know, so All Things End is track one, and we released that on the 6th of June, and that was supposed to be a headline, so we had that booked in for like a big show as well. But we made do. We did a Sims Twitch stream instead, and it was just as fun. Just as fun as the headline. And that song's about like how the world is essentially like buggered for my generation with like climate change and the end of, last stage capitalism and all this horrible political stuff that's going on. And I've just kind of found like the love of my life kind of thing. And I'm like, oh my God, what if I don't have enough time with this person because everything's like seems really like doomsday. So it's about like loving someone a lot and like being afraid that you won't have enough time with them. So there's like a ticking clock throughout the whole song, like that a lot of people picked up on, which we didn't think they would, which is cool.
I'm not gonna lie, I missed that.
Did you miss
I
the clock?
I did not notice.
Yeah, I missed it
The
too.
only thing you'll hear, like when you know
Awesome.
the clock, you just sound like tick 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 tick. Tick. But we got like quite a good feedback from that one. That was like the lead single, and it's kind of it's just about like the fear of losing somebody, and being willing to like follow them through like death, like through whatever happens after we die, like being like, now I'm coming with you, like wherever you're going, I'm coming, like I don't care,
Right.
like if I'm in hell and you're not, I'm coming up.
Right.
So it's like that kind of, the world we live in is bad, but I promise I'll follow you to wherever we go after. And that's like kind of what All Things End is about.
And is there any specific reason why you guys picked that song to donate all proceeds to like the Black Lives Matter movement and other organizations that you believe in? Was there any reason you picked that specific song, or it was just a single that was coming out, so you picked it?
Well, a little bit of both, because I mean, when we wrote the song, like all that horrible stuff hadn't like like with George Floyd, and like it hadn't reached its peak yet. And of course, like we knew about it, but it hadn't like taken over the media and actually woken up the entire planet. So we were writing the song about like love and death and how horrible the world is and how clinging on to somebody in the midst awful things is everything. And then the song was about to come out, and then everything kicked off, and we were just like, we can't release this song knowing what it's about and not use it to help.
Perfect.
We were like, we'd be such hypocrites if we wrote a song about like having an awful experience in the world that you live in, but and then all about like death and like losing people, and we were just like we can't do that. So we like spoke to our label and everything, and like we don't make loads off of our streaming revenue, but like we gave like, and we're still waiting for bits to come in, but like we were like, we have to like whatever we make of this song, whatever we make with like merch and like posters, like we can't like keep it knowing that like it could be given to like a huge movement that needs like everybody's attention. So we were like, yeah, this is a song that we were like, we don't need to keep anything, just take it. And that's why I chose that one.
Yeah, and anything helps. As a black man living in America, I can definitely say I appreciate you guys for actually doing that, standing up for what you guys believe in and doing your part to make a change.
Yeah, I mean, I hope we're helping in any way that we can, because we want to like be a part of like positive change, and not
Right.
just write political songs and then not take part in like actually being political. So we're doing our best. So that was the first song, and then it was basement dance net.
Yeah.
Basement dance.
Thank you. I can't remember the track list. We put it together in like April. Basement Dance is a little bit heavier because it's very angry. The whole EP is kind of like about human relationships and how they change you, and like who they make you into, like whether it's good, whether it's bad, like just how people around you and the world around you can like change you. And Basement Dance is about like how people can negatively change you, and like so the story is like being in and amongst like a friendship group that like you just don't fit in with, and they kind of just don't give a shit. Yeah, like a painful, like lonely situation. But then there's like loads of weird lines about like I'll drown in green and watch that life wash away. That's about like buying a load of house plants and like being happy by yourself. So there's like bits in there, like about like how toxic people can surround you forever, but like you don't need to care about them, kind of thing. And then there's like bits in it where I'm quite vulnerable because the whole song is very like in your face. I'm angry, leave me alone. But then there's bits where it's like, I wish that they were here and I wish they never left, but they weren't good for me. And then there was like, this is all an act, but I'm tired of reasons don't come back. So it's like I know that I'm putting on a big hard face, but on the inside I'm hurting, but I'm not gonna let you see that kind of rise out of me. So I'll just write like an epic song so you know that like I'm in business and I don't have time for you anymore, and I'll like heal with like good people. Like I'll let people I care about see the bad and help me fix it, rather than show people who want to hurt me that they've actually hurt me, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
That
That makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Perfect sense.
Cool.
100%.
I was like, am I rambling?
No,
No, that was a very good explanation.
Yeah, because we love people, and some of those people either maybe they changed or maybe we just didn't see it at first, but they're toxic people, and maybe they're good people and they have good intentions, but we can't stay, so we got to distance ourselves and be like, I still love you, I will always love you, but I got to love you from afar. I can't be friends with you anymore.
That is it. That is like the song. You got it. That's
Perfect.
exactly.
And next song is you guys' single. Made a video for it, and
Cool.
yes, you I can't remember their names. It was a Dylan Creffield was a director, and Emily Hill was the lady doing the contemporary dancing.
Yeah.
So we got two things to unpack. Part of the actual song, what it means, and also like who the director is, how do you guys know Emily, how do you guys know him, how do you link up with them, and how was the video overall shooting, because the video turned out amazing.
Oh, thanks. I'm so proud of the video. So the song is about like, so I wanted to write a song with multiple gender pronouns in it because I don't like using like pronouns in songs unless they're all in it. So like everybody can identify, no matter what their sexuality is, they can kind of feel like this song is written for them, or if it was them, they're included. So the song's about like a bit of a love triangle between, like, I haven't gendered them. It's like a story. I don't know. I'm pretentious. So it's like two people. They're really vibing off each other, but they don't know each other well enough. It's from the perspective of somebody who's like, I don't really know if this is a good idea, but like hormones, and I want this person. But then the other one's like, could be really dodgy and like be a total psychopath. So it's like that hyper analysis of the situation that could be really cool and freeing, but then also like, what if it all goes wrong? Everybody finds out. Like, there's the anonymous thing of like, are they actually in a relationship? Could it be cheating? Like, it's like a weird kind of dilemma of like, do I just do it because like you only live once, or like, do I just not risk it and possibly miss out because I want to play it safe? So it's like a bit of a mind boggle, horrible, thing. So a lot of it about being a psycho is like, I should be scared of you, but I'm not. So it's like, because I've had a few weird people in my life that you get to know them and you're like, you are weird and you are genuinely scaring me, and I wish I never came to your house. So like I wanted to put bits of that in there. And then there's like, I'll keep you in a cage. Don't have to tell anybody. It won't hurt. It might ache if you break a few bones and you feel no pain. And that was like, it's kind of about like hiding baggage to get to like, so someone will like you, but then it's also like the kind of creepiness of like keeping them in a cage and controlling them, and you just don't know who they're going to turn out to be, and you don't know them well enough to jump into it. So when we had the music video idea, like I wanted something really weird because the song's really weird, and I know Emily because we went to the same sixth form, because I've just finished college / sixth form, college. So I'm 18, Emily is 17, and we knew each other, and I was like, you do cool ass dancing. She was like, thanks. I was like, we dance in my music video, and she was like, oh, okay. So she was like, yeah. So we had this idea for ages, and then lockdown happened. So this song was written before lockdown, and I said to her, I was like, I have no idea how we're gonna do this video, but like, please make the routine anyway, and like wait. And then we spoke to Declan, who we've done all of our videos with, like Sedative, Hide Them From Me, the Dark Room sessions, the All Things End Silhouette lyric video. We've done it all with Declan because he's
Awesome.
a great guy. Lives in the city centre, studios there. We just know him really well. So I messaged him and I was like, can we do this? Like, if we get Emily in and we're all wearing masks and socially distanced, then can we use your studio? Because nowhere's letting us book because everything's shut. And he was just like, yeah, as long as like we play it safe and everything. So we finished the song, he mastered the song, sent it to Emily. She came up with this amazing routine. And then I was like, I want to turn the psycho up even more. So we did the weird makeup and all black and like really ominous with the strange lighting. And then when it goes duh, duh, duh in the bridge, it flashes red. So it's like, oh my God, red flags. Like I'm getting bad signals. But then it's also like the same color scheme as the EP. So it ties in really nice. And then when we were happy with the video, we messaged Declan and we were like, this worked. And he was just like, yeah, oh my God, I'm so glad it worked. So we were all shocked that we managed to do like a full video with the situation that we had, but it turned out great. So that's been like all the promo has been from that video and that photo shoot. And I'm in it a bit as well, but I wanted it to more feature around Emily and the kind of conflict in her routine, and then I occasionally pop up like I'm a singer, and then like she's dancing again. I'm just like I'm here, and then just dancing again. So we kind of had a real good time with that, and I think I covered everything.
Yeah,
Emily, what the song's about, music video.
Yep, and it turned out great. The music video turned out great, and the first listen through the EP, Standalone Do Your Dance, I'm like, oh, this is my favorite song. And then the next song, oh, that's my favorite song. But I think if I had to pick, it might change on how I'm feeling that day, but if I had to pick, I think I would pick Cat's Eyes as my favorite. That is the next song, so do you mind briefly explaining what that's about?
Yeah, I don't mind. Well, thanks for liking it anyway. Cat's Eyes almost didn't make it on to the EP, and I'm really glad it did. Because, I'm not going to name names because everyone will be annoyed at me. Someone in the band didn't like it. And there's only 3 of us, so it's a game of guess who. But one of them didn't like it. Which one? Someone didn't like it. They just like, you know, it's weird because it was a bit forced. Like, we'd written a song and we didn't like it. And then we turned it into this one. And I was like, oh my God. Like, it's just evolved, and the other person was like, I don't really know, because we couldn't get it out of our heads about the old song it was. So I wrote it. Originally had a different chorus, and it just kind of fell into place. And it's about, like, because I struggle with anxiety and depression, and a lot of songs that we have are about, like, incorporate what it's like to have, like mental health issues and stuff. And this one's about, like, switching it off to like defense or to like run to the aid of somebody else. So it's like I could be mid like episode or panic attack, and then if somebody I care about is like really upset, I'll just switch it off and like be like, oh my god, are you okay? Come here. So it's like that like kind of thing of I'll be there for you even if I'm not okay, because you know, like you don't need to worry about me. I can carry us both. And then I wrote the song about someone I really care about, and they had a song in another band about feeling like they were drowning. So there's loads of like bits about water and like no more deep end, you're not jumping tonight, you're treading just fine. So it's like you're not drowning, it's okay, like I can deal with it, like I'm here. And then stuff about like rum and drinking and like the party, like having a nice time but then feeling like crap. So it's like wherever we are, I'm here, like I've got you, like you don't need to worry about me feeling like crap because I can turn it off to save you.
Right.
But, like trying to tell somebody who's struggling that you don't need to worry about burdening me because you're not a burden and I can like deal with it together kind of thing. And it's a weird, it changed structurally a lot. Like the weird bridge bit, the big bit was originally after the chorus and not a verse. Like it just became a big mishmash. And then when it was finished, everyone just sat there and were like, yeah, okay, I like it now. And then it got put on. And then it was then the weird crunch at the end. They're like everybody thinks they've broken their phone crunch. And that was the purpose. We wanted people to go, oh my god, and then look and be like, I like this. Is to like end the angry part of the EP because like they're not all the songs are angry, but they sound like punchy and loud and poppy and jumpy. And then we wanted to have like a really abrupt like cut off point for that section of the EP to lead into the last song. So it was like a really like jumpy like contrast because the last song was like sad. And we've never written a sad song. We've written like angry songs. We've never written a sad song. So we're like, it needs its moment, okay? We're just gonna like crunch the end of one song to make space for this other one. And it kind of worked. And then the last song was really sad.
Yeah, it definitely got me. I was listening to it through my speakers with my head down on my desk so I could just, absorb it, not have any outside distractions. I was like, oh, okay, we're good. We're good.
Yeah, a lot of people said entering the Matrix when like it crunched. They're just
exactly.
Like, what the how is this happening? We had like 5 different crunches though. Like we went through so many crunches. They just weren't right. And because I said to Ewan and our friend John, who does a lot of like helping with like producing and stuff, I was like, I want it to sound like a metallic, like a robot cat having a hairball whilst falling down the stairs. And they just went, so then they tried like 4 or 5 and I was like, it's not right.
Nope.
And then we got the one and I was like, that is like a robot cat falling down the stairs. So
that's great.
I have no production experience whatsoever, so it's really hard for them to understand what I want. But they do it really well. Like I could have did that in musical terms and they would have understood it, but no, cat falling down the stairs seemed to be exactly what I thought. And they were just like, how are we gonna recreate that in FL? And I was like, you will do it.
And they did it. Perfect. And now we can go with the sad song, the last song on the EP, which is the Venom featuring label mate of Monomyth Records, Joe Garrett. Briefly touch on the Venom. You said it is a sad song. Speak on what it's about and how you came about getting Joe Garrett on the feature.
Well, Venom's like, it's a weird one. It's not like a typical breakup song because it's about like you've broken up with somebody like however long ago and there's still a piece of them there and you don't want it to be there. So it's like, so a lot of it's like about ghosts and like poison and venom and like things that cling in your bloodstream, things that cling to your system, haunting. Like it's like you've moved on and you don't care about them anymore, but there's still a piece of them there and you can't be bothered like reliving it all the time. And I was like, I've never done a duet before and I love singing with other people, so I was like, I want to get an artist on this song. And I was originally like playing about of like maybe Rob could sing it. And then we thought, oh my god, why don't we get Joe, because we've worked with him a few times. he's like on the label as well, and we thought like he's got a great voice, why don't we just get Joe on it? So we sent it to him, we left him like a bridge, and we didn't give him any information. We were like, you have this amount of time, here it is, write what you want. And we were like, oh my god, like hopefully it sounds great. And it did. It literally, the what is on the track is the first take he sent us.
Wow.
And we were just like, it's perfect, and just put it in like straight away. And like then I was like, okay, I want to build it up, because it was originally just all really stripped back, and then Joe started getting so like angry on the track, and like I was like, I'm a harmonize right there, and then I was like, you need to like build it up on the toms, and he was just like, and then we did a big end chorus. So it was originally going to just be a quiet song, and then it was like almost like the tension was brewing in the track, and then it gets to the point where they confront each other. So I wanted it to be like a conversation. So like I'm singing like, oh my god, I'm sad because you won't fuck off, and I'm just like, I don't want to be near you anymore. And then like Joe, I wasn't obviously with Joe, but the hypothetical person comes in and he's like, well, actually, I'm angry at you and you didn't love me properly. And then it's like, now we both just want to forget each other. So it was like when he comes and starts shouting, like getting angry, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna just pipe in right here. So then it became like this big argument, and then I was like, that is how we ended EP. So we did that, and then we were like, it is done. And that was the last song we wrote, last song we finished. Then we were like, oh my god, we've written the EP. And that was it. Just happened. And then Joe was like, I like that. And then we put his face on the vinyl, and job's a good one. Job is a good one.
Yes, and it's a beautiful EP. If you guys are watching this, it's probably because you're actually fans of Artio, or you might be fans of us and you've never heard of them before. But I like when an artist explains in depth about a song or songs on their album or EP, because I might have listened to it, but then I can go back and listen to it and be like, I see it more. I see the vision more.
Yeah, I like talking about it as well.
Hell yeah.
Because I put a lot into like lyrics, because I like to write from like Hell's Door is like an idea rather than what I've personally felt, but I like having like a story behind it. So then when people ask about the lyrics, I'm like, let me tell you. I'm just like, okay, and I will tell you everything you want to know.
Nice.
Because I put so much into writing them that like when I get to explain it, my head's just so excited, because I'm like, I spent hours on this song, thank you for letting me talk about it. And I'm just like, just asked for the name of the song, bro. I'm like, well, now you know about everything.
Hell yeah, awesome.
Yeah, and just like Nate, I love knowing the personal reasons behind it, because like when you listen to a song, especially if you can tell it's a heartfelt song, it touches you in a way. But I also like to know how it touched the person that wrote the song too, because sometimes it parallels and sometimes it's completely different. But I like to know where it came from.
That's what I love about art, because art is subjective. So, you know, I might look at a painting and it makes me feel one way. You might look at a painting and you see something totally different. And the same things with music. You know, the person who wrote it might have had a completely different vision for it, but it's touched me in my specific part of this life right now completely different than what they wrote it for and their intentions.
That's why I love doing what I do. And that's like one reason why it was so cool when we got Joe on it, because I have no idea what Joe was actually writing about. And then Joe had no idea what like I was actually writing about. But then when we started having the musical conversation, like then it became a story. But and we've also got 2 other versions of the Venom with 2 other artists on it. Because we were like, this is sick. Let's send it to 2 other people and then see what they write in this section. And then both of them came out gorgeous, and I was just so like, wow, music.
Nice.
So it was so that will eventually be popping out at some point in the universe. But we wanted to like give it to them to like totally express whatever they wanted like to say. And the 2 other artists that we have on it are both women, because I didn't want to just have like the kind of stereotypical heterosexual love. breakup ballad thing. So now we have 2 women on it as well. So it's like it's anybody's game. Like if you like men, you can listen to Joe. If you like women, you can listen to me and the other ladies. If you're like straight, whatever. If you get like, it's like anybody can feel this thing because everybody gets sad. The end.
Yeah, no, that's kind of a transition I wanted to make anyways, was you talk a lot about inclusivity and wanting to have people represented and people not left out and just everybody being human and loving one another. And I love the jumpsuit that you used to wear. Female fronted is not a genre. That's really cool. I mean, it's just kind of putting that out there. It's also in your lyrics. It's the way you come across. But you also have an organization that you co-founded. Can you tell us a little bit about that and what the goal is with the organization?
Oh, Girls Do That Too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Girls Do That Too is me and my friend Eva's kind of like promotion company, and she originally started it herself. Because the main reason Eva started it is she was doing a music production course, and like within the whole course of like 20, 30 people, there was like 3 women or like 4 women on the whole thing. And she was just like upset by that, and she was like, why aren't more women doing this? And so Eva started putting on a few gigs. I played one of the gigs, and then she messaged me. Actually, she messaged me in June at the Black Lives Matter Hyde Park protest, and she messaged me saying, do you know anybody that would want to help me out with Girls Do That Too? And I was like, me. And she was like, whoa, really? I was like, yeah. So we wanted to like, it's all about creating a promotion company, putting on shows for like women and queer people who don't get on the bills that like the indie boy bands get on. Like that they're not invited by the promoters that put everybody else on. But then we also wanted like female sound engineers and female lighting technicians, and like, and everybody can like be there and feel safe, because the people on stage are the people that weren't allowed to be on stage before. They weren't represented. And then we're also looking into like doing tour management and tour booking. So like people who would be like too scared to message a venue, we're just like, we have balls, we'll do it. So like we're trying to create something for like young women or people of like marginalized genders that like, we were there, we didn't get on them stages when we wanted to, so we're going to make space for you to get on those stages as well. So we wanted everybody to be able to feel like they belong, because we want more women in the industry, and we want more people to just feel like they can get on a stage and they don't need to like worry about, I'm not a man, you know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not like a cisgendered straight white man. Like you can get on a stage and be whatever you want, because the kind of the mold that every big band, that headlines all the festivals and stuff, like you can do that as well, kind of thing. Grassroots.
Yeah, and representation is really important, because if people can't see themselves in what other people are doing, they might not know that they have a yearning to do that, or the talent to do that, or the, I guess, the boldness to be able to step into something that's not typically for their representation. So whether that be a female in a band like yours, or a queer person in a mostly a straight dominated field, if they don't have that representation, it's hard for them to see themselves doing the same thing.
Like the reason I started like actually gigging is because I saw Lynn Gunn from Paris on stage in Manchester in like 2015, 2016, and I saw her like kicking ass up there, and I was like, I want to be you. and so then that's when I was like, Mom, I'm gonna be a musician. She was like, oh my god, let's do it. Do you want me to like buy you loads of clothes? And I was like, yes. So, like my family were always behind it, but like I'd never seen like a female on stage before that one wasn't in like a leotard, like like dancing, performing, having to be like overly sexual and stuff like that. And I mean, like if it's her choice, go for it. But a lot of the time, big female artists are kind of like encouraged to be more sexual because it sells. And I'd never seen like a woman on stage in all black and loads of chains, like just kicking ass and having fun and everyone loving it. And I was just like, that's where I need to be. So I want to like make sure that everybody who like has like a need to be on stage sees somebody like them, and they can go, oh my god, that's where I need to be. Like, so nobody misses out on like starting something in an industry because they never saw themselves in somebody else. So I want to make a space for them to see every different kind of person imaginable so that they want to do it as well.
That's
That's
good.
powerful. That's really awesome.
Yeah, because I mean, like Bobby touched on, and then you followed up on is if people have that representation and they see someone else doing it, then they're like, oh, I can do that too because sex does sell. Sex has always sell. Sex is always going to sell. And if you want to, have your sex to sell sometimes, but also show, look, you can be in all black, you can be in a hoodie, you can be up here rocking out, kicking ass, being just as badass as the guys, but you don't have to, have on a mini skirt. You don't have to have your, tits showing and shit like that. Like, so when other girls see that, as you saw, Paris, it's like, wait, this is possible? I actually don't have to, look like an object on stage. Perfect. I can do this and I want to do this. So, yeah, it's that representation.
That's literally exactly where it came from. You
You
hit
know,
it right on the head as well. That's definitely it.
perfect.
Yeah, and kind of wrap it up, I want to give people an opportunity that are still listening the ability to support y'all financially, not just through streaming, but y'all have some really cool physical merch out there. I also saw that y'all were doing a crowdfunding for the vinyl. So can you tell us a little bit about that and how that process works and how
Uh,
purchasing a vinyl really helps you guys?
yeah, well, most of the time, a lot of people don't realize how little artists make from streaming, and it's like nothing, like not a penny or something is like what we get paid from Spotify, from iTunes. Like it's nothing, and like a one vinyl or one CD kind of purchase is like 1,000 streams worth of money. And as a band, we're like we're coming up, but we're not like huge. So we don't have the money to just pay for like 100 vinyls to be pressed in case they don't sell, and then we've wasted money, and we're just like, oh my god, they're all in my house. So we were like, let's do like on Curate, you can do like a crowdfunding project, and you can like make this perfect little vinyl, send them everything, and then you have like a certain amount of time to sell 100 pre-orders. Once 100 gets sold, they send you 100 physical ones free to like take on tour, and then they
Hmm.
press it, they send it, and post it like as soon as like you've got the test pressings, and it's perfect. So it's a really cool way to like support artists who can't afford to just have like a major label buy them a load of vinyl. Like so it's a great way to help us out. And it's £15 for the vinyl, but it's like half red, half clear. Like it's beautiful. We've spent so much time like with the design and making it look really cool. And it's like the EP art is half red, half white. So we were like, we want the vinyl to look like that. And then our faces are on it, and then Joe's face is on the other side. And like we were just really excited because like having vinyl is like the dream. And we already made one of our dreams came true. We wanted to be in HMV, which is like one of the biggest like music selling like high street shops in the UK. And we got our EP in there in March, Backbone. So
Nice.
that's like sold in there, but so people can like actually find it. We were like, next step, vinyl. So we've managed to do that as well. But we sell like everything on our big cartel as well. But like buying merch, especially now, is like the only way that bands make a living. Like
Yeah.
we can't tour, so we can't make money on tour. And the streaming revenue just like unless you're like Ed Sheeran size, it just doesn't cut it. So like buying the merch like supports the artists massively, and it's just great. And our merch is cool. Like I did art A level, so I'm like I make things look nice. I got a qualification in making things cool. So I'm hoping that everything is like, and I love what we make. We just have everything on there.
Yeah, as long as you're having fun, that's all that matters. And I just have one more question, and so everyone, first of all, if you like their music, go check them out. Don't take my word for it. Go check them out, and definitely buy a vinyl to help them out if you like the music. And my last question is: he's talked about big labels. Now, what is Monomyth Records? Because they're a non-profit label, and I've never heard of that before. So what are they there for? What do they help you guys with and stuff like that?
So everybody on Monomyth has been like in the music industry for like most of their life. Like they've been DJs in bands, they've been producers, they've worked on other labels. Like there's just a lot of really cool people who have a lot of experience. They have a lot of contacts, and they kind of want to help the next generation of musicians like get a foot up. So like a lot of the time, a lot of funding comes through them, through like other projects and stuff. So like they pay for our music videos, and they distribute our music, and they like help us like on tour, and just like they're like a massive support network. Because like we don't have like as a label, it's an up and coming like proper small indie label, but like some of the bands on the label are just like they should be huge, and they're just not getting that attention, and like none of us would be getting that attention if we hadn't got somebody with contacts to like push us to these places. And like they're the ones that like were like we should do this like crowdfunded vinyl, and they finance everything that we do. And it's like non-profit because like there's not like a contract of like whatever you make we take this from it.
Right.
Like the whole kind of thing is when the bands start making money, like as in enough money to support them, the band itself, then obviously the label are like, hi, you know, and then we give them a cut. But because none of the bands yet, especially with Corona, like are able to make a load of money, it's like it's just this great thing of like helping everybody out, bringing a load of musicians together. We all play shows together. You know, Joe's on the label, he featured on the song. Like everyone's just this really cool community. Everybody goes to each other's shows, and like I wouldn't know half the bands if I wasn't signed to the label. But they're just great, and they help us out with everything. And like the main reason for the label is to like have something until you move on to something else. So it's like they're prepping us for like how it would be on a much bigger platform. Like we're working with like other people and engineers, and like we're learning not to just be like in our own little bubble. So that when, you know, or if I say when because I'm so optimistic, if like things like proper take off, we know how to work with other people. Right. Because we've been taught like, you know, like just you need people's help, you know, you don't have to do it by yourself. And then it means we take the support, we take the, you know, constructive criticism, because we're in the habit of like listening to people who have amazing experience and contacts and know more than us. Because like the worst thing is like if a band gets signed to like a big label and they have no experience of working with it, like with working with other people, it's just so intimidating. So it's like it's this thing preps you for like what it could be, and they'll push you up until you get to that point. So it's like a lovely like big family kind of thing, and it's great. And they have a lot of cool stuff on the website as well, and live sessions and premieres. Yeah, it's just a great platform for us.
Cool.
Yeah, it's amazing to have such a support system and foundation like that. Even being at like a level where you're not like on a big label yet, but getting to learn what the process might be like.
It's very helpful. We're super grateful, but they know that. I mean, it's not in my like contract to like kiss their ass. I'm just very grateful.
That no, that's awesome. Yeah.
No, it's great because the label you only hear about labels when something bad's happening. So if the artist is mad and they're like, I signed a contract and they're taking all that's the only time. So it's always nice to actually hear good things about a label.
Yeah, we couldn't like we are like a self-contained band in the sense that we do all our own recording and writing, and like all the ideas kind of come from in our little bubble, but we're like so used to like running it by somebody else now and showing it to people and not being so like closed off about it, like because we were for ages, because we were like, we don't have a manager, we don't have this, we didn't need to prove ourselves to anybody. But like they kind of show like, look, if you want to do this, you need to be able to work with other people, and it just gives you those amazing like practical skills. But it's a small label, so there isn't like crazy pressure to like, you know, do a load of stuff, because like when you're on a massive label, if you're not like built for it yet, like it can crush you, and then you can just not want to do it. But if you have like an amazing support network like we've had, like we're not scared of a label coming at us and going, right, you're touring from January to June and blah 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 blah, because we've had a smaller version of like, guys, we're going to do this tour here and you're going to do this show here, but it's all on our terms. So we also kind of know like our rights, because all of the songs are in our name, like we own everything, and like all the bands own their own music. So like on like Spotify, it'll say copyright the year and then Artio, like it won't say Monomyth, because so many bands get like, they take the first deal, they get trapped, and then they don't own their music anymore. So this label is like, nah, you own everything, and if somebody comes at you and contacts you, it's because they want you, because you own all of your music, and you have to tell them like, we own everything. So it's like that kind of giving you those skills to like work with other people, but also to not take shit.
Great.
It's like you own what you make, and that's what we like about it as well.
Yeah, that's super important, because it makes no sense to make art and have somebody else own that art.
Yeah.
And then have all financial control, and just it's been a crazy system for too long. So I'm glad that bands are gaining control of what they put out.
That's the music industry.
Yes.
So we're just out of the way.
I just want to say thank you for your time. Thanks for all your honest sharing. It's been wonderful having you on.
Thanks for having me.
Definitely. And just to kind of wrap things up, if you could summarize your message to your fans, or what you want to put out in the world in like just 1 to 3 sentences, what would that be?
We just want to show people that you can be political, you can be angry, you can be sad, you can be happy. You're not alone in your mental health struggles. You don't need to be afraid to be honest, but you don't need to show people everything. That like I'm from a working class family, and I've made it this far just off of drive, so it doesn't matter where you come from, and that make music that makes you happy and makes you feel empowered, and that offers a different side of yourself that makes you not afraid anymore.
Sounds good to me.
Great summary, Bobby. We had another great episode, man. Hall,
Yes,
thank you for coming on. This has been another episode of Off the Beaten Path podcast. I hope y'all all enjoy. Hall, I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you. You guys too.
Thank you.